someone in the morning, he made some weakness in his introduced SWOT analysis, and he said some countries are influenced by neighboring countries. I like the idea of setting criteria for Arab countries, and we are significantly influenced by our neighboring country. And I like the idea of the criteria in the QS rating, where you put special criteria for institutions who has some distinguished things. Why you don't do something similar in the QS ranking criteria?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the whole idea behind this survey. So we have our ID, we have a certain expectation what we would like to see, what we may want to see as an outcome. But we would also, and we actually run a very similar exercise for our Latin American rankings. And we had quite a bit of a surprise there, because what we initially thought of, it might be appropriate, it might be this indicator for this region, didn't work out at all. And we have learned that stuff with PhD is most important for us to introduce. So that's why we would like to invite you to share your opinion on what you think as university representatives, what is most important to you and your region. But also, like you said, initially, we listed only the Arab League countries. So the survey is sent out to representatives to this country. But last night I was thinking, why not inviting other people from other higher education systems to take the survey as well and see how they view the region and what could potentially be interesting and valuable as an indicator for a new regional ranking. What was important for me was, well, we do have to focus on the 4 key features, but it's important to find out whether there's any other potential indicator that could be introduced in a rankings exercise, referring to infrastructure, referring to third mission, or innovation, for example. However, the most important part would be it is feasible, we need access to data, and it should be appropriate as well. And this is what we are trying to find out by doing this survey.
Thank you, Bevel. Can I just ask, if you ask a question, keep the question short, and Bevel, if you keep the answer short.
Short as well, okay.
Thank you. Then we get more questions in.
This question.
We appreciate your introducing PhD as a requirement, but in disciplines like medicine and dentistry, a PhD is not the requirement. So, if you look at faculty in medicine and dentistry, PhD is not a requirement. So you may have to keep this in mind when you have universities which have medicine and dentistry, and I don't know if there are other faculties where PhD is not the requirement. The highest qualification is an MD or an MDS.
Absolutely correct, and we will certainly keep it in mind. It was just the absolute outstanding feature when we did this for the Latin American rankings, that this indicator we didn't even think about all of a sudden came up, and it was like, in this region, as a faculty member, you did have to have a PhD in order to be employed by the university. So if this is something that is not that appropriate for your region, then we may skip it, but we will see.
Okay, thanks very much. Just one other point. Of course, if you're a medical doctor, there are many more journals you can publish in, much higher citation rate. So what you lose on the roundabouts, you gain on the swings in relation to that. This gentleman here.
Yeah, just like a small, quick clarification. Who are, surveys used it for? You're only for universities, this is for all academics, or for maybe employers? Because these rankings are really for the community at large to know how the different universities are performing. So who do you?
That is actually a very interesting point of view, because I was referring to our main target audience and prospective students. Now, this survey is certainly addressed to representatives of a university and what they would like to be featured. Well, equally, it would be interesting to run the same type of exercise and sending the survey to students, whether they would have the same view. So if time and resources allow, I would be up for this project. Yeah.
Thank you, Bebel.
Yeah, for the last question, I'd like to ask you about the faculty and the student ratio. For the faculty, it's composed of full-time faculty members plus part-time, which we can use 3 part-time faculty members equal to 1 full-time. I want to ask you that when we calculate the paper per faculty members, you use full-time faculty member plus part-time, or just only full-time faculty member?
All of our calculations are based on the full-time equivalent figure. So once we calculate the FTE figure for faculty staff, this figure is the one we apply for all the rankings indicator calculations. So we refer to the FTE full-time equivalent figure.
Thank you, Bebel.
I'd be interested in, I think that's not on the list, what do you think about the ratio between undergraduate and postgraduate students as an indicator of academic quality?
Interesting, and so far, what we do here is we also say these are our suggestions for potential evaluation, but if you have any other ideas, please come and forward them to us. So far, in none of this type of surveys, this suggestion came up. So if you're one of the people who would like to take the survey, please mention it. We would probably have to consider the nature of the universities we want to evaluate, and whether introducing this type of ratio would make or would bring value to the measurement system.
Thank you. 2 more questions, one from Nelson, one from this gentleman here, and then we move on.
Mine is just a comment. I think the importance of a PhD to any university should not be underestimated in terms of research capacity. So I don't believe there's a discipline which doesn't need a PhD for somebody who wants to work in the university as a researcher. Whether it's a lawyer, accountancy, medicine, and medical doctors need a PhD, but they have to do research to improve what they're doing. Without a PhD, the chances of getting deeper into the subject to create knowledge is very small. So I would urge my colleagues in the Middle East that they should not take out this requirement of a staff with PhD.
Thank you. One last question coming up. And then Dr. Habib.
The wake of, we're talking now about globalization, right?
Yeah.
But I see that QS, you are differentiate it, separate it into a smaller region. You're talking about Latin, BRICS now, Middle East, and maybe some more to come. What is your comment on that? Because I just want to make a comment, because should we benchmark globally, or you will further regionalize the ranking?
Well, I would like to refer to this new project as Arab World Ranking. It's not a Middle East ranking. And secondly, the answer to your question is actually part of the presentation Professor Nunberg provided us with this morning, in terms of we would like to look at smaller regions to have a geographic focus, and then identify the outstanding universities within this region, which we then take into the global level and evaluation in a bigger context.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Bebel for giving time to answer questions. She's going to be around this afternoon, so grab her if you have any other questions you would like to ask. Thank you very much. Thanks, Barbara.